My name is Cameron Alarcio. I'm 31 years old, and I'm a full-time teacher. I tell my students that they can really achieve anything they want. So I want to do Forged in Fire to prove to myself that I am able to compete with some of the best bladesmiths out there.
My name is Justin Kospilecki. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm about to make a knife for 3 expert judges. Ben Abbott, he has eyes like a hawk, so he'll be able to spot any flaws I make. David Baker has a mustache that's just glorious, so you know that he knows what he's talking about. And Doug Marcaida, he's just dangerous, man. That makes me feel pretty nervous.
My name is Nick Overton. I am 22 years old. There was a scouting program through my church, and they had a camp out one summer, and they had a blacksmith shop. Made my first knife there, and it's been a snowball effect ever since. And now, the same shop that they taught me in is now partly my shop, and I get to teach the scouts there as well.
My name's Matt Presti. I'm from Union Bridge, Maryland. I am a tattoo artist by trade. Tattoos and bladesmithing kind of go hand in hand because of the design aspect and being able to create something out of it that makes people happy.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. You're here to engage in 3 rounds of timed-edged weapon-making competition specifically designed to test every aspect of your skills in front of our panel of expert judges who will tell us which of you is our next Forged in Fire champion, walking out of this forge with a check for $10,000. Let's go ahead and meet your judges now. Up first, 2-time Forged in Fire champion, Ben Abbott. Historic weapons recreation specialist, David Baker. And last, edged and impact weapon specialist, Doug Marcaida. Gentlemen, my favorite activities are camping, pool parties, and picnics. But you can't have any of those things without a barbecue. In this first round of competition, you'll have to harvest steel from this barbecue and forge camp knives. Dating back to the 1800s, the camp knife was a staple for the mountain men and fur traders who first used them to skin and butcher the animals they caught. These all-purpose knives typically featured a robust spine that tapers to a fine edge, making them suitable for a variety of tasks. You'll have to make a camp knife between 10 and 12 inches in length as measured from the tip to the plunge grind. And one other thing, your blades must also include an operational bottle opener. Some of this is mild, some of this is high carbon. It's up to your skill set to determine what's what and forge your blade.
A normal barbecue for me is some surf and turf, definitely some beers, disassembling a barbecue and making blades out of it. Definitely not what I think of when I think of a barbecue.
If you make it to the second round of this competition, you'll have an opportunity to attach handles to those blades, turning them into fully functional weapons that will be tested for strength and durability in a firewood chop and for edge retention in a pork shoulder slice. Good luck, bladesmiths. Your time starts now. Well, cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Here in this first round of competition, each one of these guys has to make a 10 to 12-inch camp knife. We're looking for parallel flat sides going to a drop point.
Yeah. There's one other thing that's really important, and I hope these smiths take it into account, is the placement of that bottle opener. Ideally, right at the back of the tank, so it's never in your way.
Okay.
Immediately, I look at the spit, and that looks to me like it's gonna be high carbon steel. Put it down a little lower past this.
Now it's up to their own skill set to determine what's mild steel, what's high carbon steel, and how to assemble those things into a billet.
Well, let's test some of these pieces of steel here.
You can do it smart, guys. Put it surefire away, just take a piece of steel, get it hot, quench it, and check it.
I chop off a little piece of that spit. I throw it in the forge immediately to see if I can get it up to temp, quench it, and check to see if it's hard.
There are some things that anybody who kind of hangs around metal knows is not high carbon steel, like the oil drums, the hollow tube, the square tube underneath. Mind if I borrow that?
By all means, sir.
I'm going to start with the tines, and I'm going to spark test it.
Those sparks don't look bad.
The tines seem to be throwing off sparks. Tells me it's carbon steel.
As soon as that piece gets up to heat, I quench it. No. The file does not skate at all, which means that that's not hardenable steel. I need to think of a plan B. Ding, light bulb goes off, throw it in a canister. I'm just gonna cut up pieces of steel, and I'm gonna throw all of it into a canister with some 1095, and that will hopefully give me a solid billet.
If you're not sure what's in there, I'd go with canister Damascus. You got a 1095 powder seal that you know you can mix in between.
I can't figure out what's high carbon or not, and it don't matter if it's not high carbon as long as your edge is good with the 1095 powder. Normally, when I go to a barbecue, we're cooking steak, so I think this is going to be the most intense barbecue that I've ever been to.
Of course, the spikes are not enough to make and meet the parameters of the knives we're going to build, so I'm going to do a canister. I want to do this competition for my mom. She was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. We used to watch Forged in Fire together, and she would tell me, hey, can you do that? Can you do that? So I'm doing this for her.
First thing I do is cut off a piece of the big round spit. I think it has the mass to produce the size of knife that they're looking for.
Matt is drawing out a piece of steel. I don't know if that's high carbon or mild.
I do not know what kind of steel the spit is. I just assume that the bigger round bar is a higher carbon steel. Bladesmiths! 1 hour has elapsed!
So I take my canister over to the press. Rather than getting a straight square, which is, you know, what you want when you're doing a canister, I'm getting this diamond shape that's folding over on one side.
There just wasn't enough compression.
The presses that we have sort of a secondary pressure that kicks in and really compresses it. So unless you hit that, you're not going to get the compression you need to get that forge weld.
But I have to just get it hot again, squeeze it so that I can hopefully get a completely homogeneous piece in there.
Once my billet is up to the right temperature, I'm going to very gently squeeze it. Just think of it as like a snowball. You push too hard, it's going to go everywhere. You slowly pack it both ways, and then when you finally get to where you need to be, you can really get some force on it. But the first, you need to really take some baby steps to get that weld set.
I'm over Big Blue. I'm drawing it out. Once I get it to kind of the size and the parameters that I want it to, I can start doing some hand hammering.
Matt's got a wood block.
So I brought with me what I like to call a schwacker. It's basically a wooden club, and I schwack away.
People use a wood block to straighten without deforming, without leaving dents.
Normally, I don't have time constraints like this, so the sooner I can get this spit into a knife shape, the better.
It's now or never. I got to get this welded.
Oh, come on.
What happens to the canister?
Big old gap in there. This is bad.
As I peel off the canister, I am just hoping that I have a solid weld.
Oh, no.
Oh, what? What?
Wow, I dropped it when I was grinding and it split on me.
He's inspecting the inner contents to see if they welded up, and he doesn't look happy.
Again, when he came off the press, it didn't look like he'd reduced that can much, so he might not have pressed it down.
This is unusable steel.
I could try to salvage this canister, but there's probably forge scale building up in there. There's no point in chasing it.
I gotta start over. I can't use any of this steel.
Cameron and Justin are having some issues right now. Doesn't look good.
It's now or never. I got to get this welded.
Ah, come on.
Big old gap in there. There's no point in continuing with it.
Oh, no.
I can't use any of this steel. I wasted over an hour, but I have to start over from square one.
Cameron restarting a new can. It's not a lot of time.
Check out Justin.
And I think he's thinking about what to do now.
I have to start over. Now I'm moving on to that big chunk of spit. I'm just taking the best guess on what I know I could at least get a knife-shaped object out of.
I cut off pieces of grate. All right, round 2, here we go. And I know that I'm up against the clock and it's gonna be tight. It's gonna come down to the wire, but I never give up.
We got Nick trying to bang a billet out of a hot can. It's not working out for him.
It is very difficult. I'm spending way too much time when I need to be shaping this steel. Luckily, the can finally comes off.
Woo. There we go.
So I've got my blade to shape. So the plan is putting this bottle opener in the front of the blade, kind of like a gut hook.
I mean, we've seen those gut hooks be stress risers and make blades crack.
Putting the bottle opener in the wrong place could weaken the blade, but I think my blade is coming along really well.
I've never put a bottle opener in a blade before. I'm thinking I'm gonna put a ring at the back end of the knife. I think that swell will help keep the knife in your hand, and it's not up on the blade in case you have to baton it, and you're not gonna cut yourself when you're opening your beer when you're camping or fishing, right?
Looks like Justin was able to quickly forge out a blade with his monosteel, and Cameron's still working on his second can.
Yeah.
He's still got a long ways to go.
60 minutes remaining in the round.
I got my bottle over pretty much where I want it. Hopefully it can actually open a bottle. We gotta heat treat this thing.
Nick's blade's looking real nice. That's a nice camp knife shape.
My blade is fully hardened.
Justin just quenched.
I'm just praying to the gods of metal that this blade is gonna come out hard. And it's not hard. I think, well, maybe I'm working with mild steel. Oh, if I don't have a hard blade, I might get eliminated. I'm freaking out. I don't have time to make a whole nother blade. All I need to do is have a high carbon edge. I'm just gonna cut some pieces off this grate and I'm gonna do a snap test. I know that if I net son of a bitch with a hammer and it breaks, that means it has carbon in it and it got hard, and I can forge weld it onto the edge.
Broke it right off.
Broke it right off.
Now, you know that's hardened steel.
I'm kicking myself for not doing this sooner.
You know what? This is the Hail Mary before time runs out. 20 minutes, Bladesmiths!
I'm able to peel my second canister off and start forging it.
Cameron, just so far behind the power curve.
I know that to meet the parameters, I still have to put a bottle opener on this knife.
Cameron needs to work very quickly because he still has to quench that blade.
I'm thinking I want to do an edge quench. I feel like it produces a stronger, more durable blade. I take a file to my edge and the file bites into the edge immediately. That means it's not hard steel. Time's running out. The only thing I can do is try another edge quench.
Justin is perfectly shaping that piece of high carbon steel to the edge of his blade.
I really do applaud the fact that he was in the middle of that and found a way out. I like it.
Clock's ticking. I'm almost out of time. The high carbon steel on my edge needs to get hard.
And here comes the file test.
Yeah, man, it's hard.
Cameron still needs to quench. And then Matt over here is looking to quench again because his blade isn't getting hard. 1 minute, Bladesmiths!
Keep my eye on the clock, making sure I get this done before the time runs out.
30 seconds!
It's the moment of truth.
One more.
You got enough. You got enough, buddy.
It's
Now.
already hot.
Thank you.
There you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmith, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This first round of competition is over.
This is a disaster that looks nothing like a knife. There is a little bit of solace in the fact that I actually have something to turn in rather than show up empty-handed.
All right, Bladesmiths, time has elapsed in this first round of competition. The judges are anxious to see what you've done with all that time that was given to you. Cameron, you're up first. Please present your blade to the judges.
There is a lot of work to do to make this a viable knife. Biggest concern, there are cracks that run all the way over the blade and the spine. You do have the starting of what will be a bottle opener if you move forward. It's going to be a lot of work.
All right, Nick, you're up next.
Well, Nick, I love the shape of this knife. The handle seems comfortable. A little bit narrow right here. And this is where I'm always most critical, is where my pointer finger goes. So when you go to put a handle on this, I'd like you to just pay attention to that spot, just to be sure. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, Justin, you're up.
All right, Justin, you did it. You knew you had mild steel, but you acted on it, and you were able to find a solution. I commend you on not giving up and presenting a blade that does meet the parameters that we're looking for and putting that hardened edge on it. Good job, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, you're up.
Matt, what steel did you use for this knife?
I used the spit.
Do you think that that was high carbon steel?
Initially, I did, yes.
I'm not sure it was, so I'm going to test this with a file. If it's hardened and hardenable steel, that file should skate off as if I was rubbing on glass. If it bites in significantly, then I know that this wasn't, in fact, hardenable steel. This is biting deep, man. There's a notch right there.
I see it. Matt, big problem with your blade here. There is no high carbon steel in that blade, and therefore you don't have an edge that is hardenable, and therefore you don't have a knife. And for that reason, you can't move forward in this competition. Come on forward, my friend.
I had some inclinations towards the end that it was not hardenable steel, and at that point it was too late. If I would have gotten hardened steel on the edge of the blade, I feel like it would have tested very well.
Congratulations, Bladesmiths. You've made it to the second round of this competition. Now that those blades have been tempered, it's time to finish those blades off by attaching handles to them using the range of materials on top of that barrel. That is a stack of hickory wood. You'll have just 2 hours in which to complete your handles and address any flaws and issues that were identified in your blades. For you, that's a lot of work. After, we'll be testing them for strength and durability in a firewood chop and for edge retention in a ham shoulder slice. I remind you that after your blades have been tested, one of you will be selected to surrender your blade and leave the forge. Good luck, Bladesmiths. Your 2 hour starts now. Is this the type of wood that you would want to throw onto a knife?
Well, I mean, hickory, if it's properly cured, yeah, absolutely.
I'm feeling pretty good going into round 2. I grab a piece of G10 liner to back that wood up just in case there is something wrong inside the wood that I don't know about. This G10 will give it a stronger structure. I feel like my mom is proud of me right now. She always taught me take one more step further than the rest. I need to always try my best, and no matter what, that's gonna be good enough.
Cameron is in survival mode. He has a blank right now.
I feel lucky to be in round 2. My biggest concern is to grind out all the cracks I can so that they're not going to be a problem when it comes to the actual testing.
So all this is welded on with a MIG welder, and it's ugly, so I gotta fix that.
I wouldn't grind that weld line too much. As much as you want to make it look pretty, you have to think mechanical as well.
I know I have to be careful, because if I grind away this weld, this high carbon is just gonna fall off, and no carbon steel, no knife. It's gone. Sayonara.
60 minutes, Bladesmiths.
The judges addressed that the choil here on this blade was a little thin. So right now, I'm gonna put a bolster on and make that bolster a little thicker.
Nick is making some bolsters from some hardwood that he's gonna butt up this hickory to.
You know, and that's what we want to see. It should be stout. It should be something that holds up.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
I look at it, and sure enough, it is snapped in half. This is not good. There's not enough time to do this bolster again I still need to finish my handle construction. The clock is ticking.
We've got a problem over here, gentlemen.
Oh, man.
The bolster snaps in half. I'm only allowed 2 hours to finish this handle. Every second counts, so I scrapped the bolster idea. We're just gonna have to go and glue these scales completely onto this blade.
Nick's done exactly what you asked him not to do. The neck of his handle is almost like the circumference of a hot dog.
Yeah. It's really narrow. We'll see how that holds up.
There is still a little crack on the spine, but I realize I've already eaten into a whole lot of time. I attach my handle scales as securely as possible, and I know that I have to have a working bottle opener on there.
I want to see how Cameron figures out how to turn a round hole into a bottle opener.
Cut into the hole that I made to allow kind of a pry bar bottle opener at the tail of my knife.
That should work.
Justin's scales are roughly shaped. He's got some pins. The holes are drilled out.
While my epoxy's drying, I don't have time to wait, so I'm starting to shape this thing. Son of a bitch. There's a little bit of a crack right here, but I'm hoping I can grind it out. Grinding the crack out. It's gonna limit me and remove too much material, but it's the quickest and easiest solution, and I don't got a lot of time left.
20 minutes, bladesmiths!
It's time to really hone in that edge. The performance tests for these knives are to chop through a hickory log and hopefully hold up to withstand the ham slice.
I'd say that's sharp enough.
I ended up testing on my arm hairs to see if it'll shave and ended up taking a whole lot more than just my arm hairs. Thank you. It will cut.
If anybody's feeling the pressure and crunch of the clock, it's got to be Cameron at this point.
I'm pretty worried. I started with really thick pieces of hickory, thinking that I'd be able to grind them down very quickly, but unfortunately, I do not have time to break the edges, so there are hard corners on the bottom of my handle which are gonna come back to bite me.
Cameron's really racing the finish here. Next to him, it looks like Justin's just cleaning up his blade as best he can.
I want to make sure that it's sharp and strong. Is it gonna hold up? Those welds can still break.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmith, shut down your machines. Drop your tools. This second round of competition is over.
I don't know if my blade's gonna survive the test. If those MIG welds for my hard carbon edge aren't strong enough, that whole edge could just come off and go flying across the room.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your blades as well as the overall construction of your knives, I'll be chopping into firewood. But what's more fun than chopping into firewood? Chopping into firewood on fire. Remember, this test is all about what happens to your weapons and not what happens to the logs. Cameron, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir. What I'm most worried about is the small crack on the spine, and I'm worried that crack may extend down through the length of my blade and actually crack in half. What I'm most worried about is the small crack on the spine. I'm thinking, please just survive the first chop.
Well, Cameron, man, you pulled a knife out of that thing. Coming into this round, it was extremely rough. Your edge held up fine, but the biggest thing is the sharp corners right here. But, you know, what you did in 2 hours from what you started with, it's miraculous.
Thank you.
Justin, you're up next.
Let's do it. My heart's thumping. My pulse is beating faster, and I'm real concerned that my edge is just gonna come flying off. It didn't break.
Well, Justin, it held up, and it took no damage. I don't see any glinting or edge deformation of any kind. So, all in all, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Nick, you're up. What are you thinking?
Not much of anything right now. After watching the other two guys, I'm just hoping I can survive. That was a very brutal test, and I have no idea what's going on inside my blade, but we'll see how it goes.
Good job, man.
Oh, thanks.
Well, Nick, I don't see any issue that happened from this test on this blade whatsoever. The handle is comfortable.
And good to see that your tang junction held up without the bolster.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test, the pork shoulder slice. Unlike the strength test, this is all about what your edge will do to these pork shoulders. Cameron, you're up first. Are you ready?
Yes, please.
Since we asked you to do a bottle opener, we're going to test to see if it'll open up. And just to let you know, it's root beer because we don't beer and blade. All right, Cameron, first up, your bottle opener works. Your edge, it's not very sharp, but it cuts. But that's a lot also to do with the velocity I'm doing in chopping through the meat right there. With everything that you've done, your blade, sir, it'll cut. All right, Justin, it's your turn. Are you ready, sir?
Oh, yeah, bud.
All right, Justin. Your edge not only is sharp, but look at what it did. It cut through bone. It's a deep cutter. And of course, I got a swig. Overall, sir, your blade, it will cut.
Thank you.
Nick, your turn, sir. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. I'm thirsty and I guess I'm gonna do this test thirsty.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, Nick, it's very nice to slice and dice. Nice slashes, nice deep cuts, even cuts to the bone. But I'm still thirsty. Overall, sir, your blade, it will cut.
Yes.
All right, gents, it's time for one of you bladesmiths to leave the forge. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Cameron. Your blade did not make the cut.
Cameron, your second round comeback was really impressive, the fact that you got that blade finished the way you did. But you ran out of time before you truly got an edge on there or finished that handling.
Cameron, you did a great job, but at this time, I need you to please surrender your blade.
I'm proud that I never really gave up.
Good job, Cameron, seriously.
Thanks, guys. I believe that I gave everything I had this entire challenge, and I sure had a hell of a time competing.
Justin, Nick, congratulations. You fellas are in the final round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from history. A pair of Frankish throwing axes. The Frankish throwing axe was the deadly and iconic weapon of Germanic tribes known as the Franks during the 3rd century. Masters of shock and awe combat, the Franks carried multiple axes into battle and would throw them at close range to break formation and cause chaos. The axe's heavy blade and razor-sharp edge cut deep into enemy flesh and was capable of damaging armor and crushing bone. The axe's brutality in the hands of the Franks is still prevalent in movies and can be seen in the 2010 film Centurion. The length of the axe head must be between 6 and 7 inches. You must have an S-shaped curve to the top of your axe. You must have a hammer back, and you must have handles that curve away from the axe's edge.
I'm a little intimidated. I've only made a handful of axes / tomahawks. It's not out of my element, but It's going to be a challenge.
You'll have just 4 days at your home forges in which to complete your weapons. At the end of those 4 days, you'll return and present your weapons to our panel of expert judges. And after they've thoroughly and brutally tested them, they'll declare one of you the Forged and Fire champion who leaves here with a check for $10,000. Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
Good luck, man.
Good luck to you, man. It feels great to be back home. I have to make a pair of Frankish throwing axes. There's a lot of subtle curves to them, so it's gonna be a real challenge. I'm gonna take my piece of mild steel, I'm gonna forge it out, and then I'm gonna fold it over on itself, and then I'm gonna fit it for a bit of high carbon steel in the middle. I think that might work. Mild steel doesn't like to weld at the heats that carbon steel does. Hopefully she welds.
So I'm really excited. We've made it to round 3. I'm ready to get sweat and get some sparks thrown on this thing. So the plan today is I'm going to take some 1018 mild steel. We're going to start by drilling 2 holes, go in with a drift, chisel it out, start forming RI on both of these. That looks like a good eye right there. It's time to really profile this thing. So I'm taking it to the power hammer. That way they move a whole lot easier. I have the profile forged out, have the eyes drifted. Feeling pretty good about day 1, but we got a whole lot more work to do.
It's the morning of day 2, and I'm pretty tired. Yesterday, I was able to get both my axes forge welded together. Now I just got to finish drawing them out today. I want to get that done to shape, but it looks like it's staying together. Oh, never mind. It is not staying together. I got a massive seam where that forge weld is supposed to be. The weld didn't take at the very back of this. So I'm gonna try to forge out this other head, and almost right away, it's split apart. No good, so don't like that. Too thin to even really forge weld it again, so I have to start over. I'm almost a quarter of the way through. I'm restarting at square one. This is ridiculous. I'm hitting it, and it's split apart. I'm almost a quarter of the way through, and I have to start over. I don't know what these tests are gonna be, but they're always brutal. So I need to make them strong, hopefully to survive the test. What I'm gonna do is take a piece of this mild steel, and I'm gonna forge it out to shape, and then grind in a slot for the high carbon bit. I really have to get a good weld here. I can't afford to start all over again.
So it's day 2. The plan for today is to really fix those eyes and really get them to the shape I want. Ended up stretching way too much material. One of the eyes ended up cracking. There's no saving these, and I'm starting to panic. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of room right there. At this point, I'm burning daylight. I'm just gonna have to scrap it and start over. I'm gonna do the wrap method. Basically, take a flat bar of steel and wrap it around an eye and have a carbon steel core running all the way through instead of just a bit. Don't really feel good about it, but I'm gonna really power through and work as fast and hard as possible. My forge welding went good. I believe they're good enough for heat treat. And I feel like the heat treat process went really well. So the next 2 days, I can focus on fit and finish.
It's the morning of day 3. I still got a little more forging to do. The steel's nice and hot. Give it a couple whacks, and it's feeling good already. I'm like 99% sure I have good forge weld. Go straight into the oil. Oh yeah. Hard axes have to have a handle, so I cut out the hickory. Now it's time to shape them. I can feel the sawdust adhering to my cheeks.
So it's the morning of day 4. Today I'm gonna play dress up. These axes right now are assembled, and I'm going to do some finer detail work. So they're both at the finish that I want. You know, I need to go above and beyond. That's what my mom would have wanted me to do. This was a challenge, and I'm really proud that I pulled it off.
Justin, Nick, welcome back to the Forge. You dudes have had 4 days at your home forges to finish those Frankish throwing axes. Justin, tell the judges about your blades.
So my axes are made out of mild steel and 80 CRV2 for the bit that's forge welded in there, and hickory for the handle.
All right, Nick, how'd it go?
All in all, pretty good. The blades itself are mild steel construction with a 1095 core and a charred hickory handle.
All right, all right. To determine which of you is our Forged and Fire champion, we're now gonna put your blades through 3 tests. There will be a strength test, a sharpness test, and up first, Doug's kill test.
All right, Bladesmiths, well, frankly, your Frankish Throwing Axes look fantastic, but are they lethal? Well, to find that out, I will take your weapons and deliver some, well, hellish of a blow on this ballistics dummy. Justin, you're up first. You ready?
Split it to the teeth. I like going first. It takes some of the pressure off, I think, because I don't really care how Nick does. I'm here to see how I do. I think if something went wrong with the blades, it'd be the haft breaking. There's not a lot of material up there near the eye, so I think that could be a potential weak point.
All right, Justin, every chop and slash is deep. Overall, sir, it'll kill.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, it's your turn. Ready to have fun?
Let's do this. Justin's blade annihilated that dummy. I'm not really nervous about what a ballistics dummy is going to do to my blade. I'm just hoping I turn out as good as Justin did.
All right, Nick, upon impact, crushes the face easily and the head. Your edges, they dig in with every chop and slash. It'll kill.
Thanks, Doug.
Good job.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. I will be throwing your Frankish throwing axes into this large wall. Justin, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yeah, bud, let's do it.
Well, Justin, there is a ding on this blade right here where my finger is. Your handles are comfortable. The problem I have with them, this bulb is more fitted for a fighting axe as retention. A throwing axe, you kind of want to let it go. But in all, your axe is held up. Nice job.
Thank you.
Nick, you're up. You ready for this?
Let's do this. I am super nervous. I ground my geometry relatively thin. I don't know how they're going to hold up in the strength test. I'm really crossing my fingers and praying really hard. I am super, super nervous. I ground my geometry relatively thin, so I'm just hoping they survive.
Well, Nick, your edges held up great. I can't even tell that they've been thrown. Handles show no damage. Nice job.
All right, Bladesmiths, this is our sharpness test, the foot soldier attack. This is all about what the edges of your weapon will do on the protective clothing of this foot soldier. Justin, you're up first. You ready?
Yeah, kill it.
Right, Justin, your edges over here, as you can see on the clothing on this, it cuts right into this foot soldier. Overall, sir, your weapons, it will cut. Go. All right, Nick, your turn, sir. You ready?
Play some good music.
All right, Nick, no glinting or rolls on your edges. Sharp with every cut that went through, it'll cut.
Thank you.
All right, Bladesmiths, you guys have brought in some high-quality, competitive, and nicely matched Frankish throwing axes, but only one of you can be the Forged in Fire champion. Nick, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion. Justin, unfortunately, your Frankish throwing axes did not make the cut.
Justin, both sets of axes performed well in all of our tests. So this basically came down to that small amount of damage you took in the strength test and the overall design of your axes.
Yes, sir.
Justin, you did a great job, but at this time, I have to ask you to please surrender your blades.
I came here, I did good. I think I represented myself well, and I think, if nothing else, these tests show that I can make a working blade.
Nick, congratulations. You're the Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job, man. Please present your axes to the judges.
This experience was incredible. I had so much fun. I came here to win for my mom. She was my biggest fan, and I've done exactly what I planned to do. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. I did it, Mom.